Hey y'all, well done getting Units 0 and 1 taken care of. I hope you're all moving forward with the material smoothly, and it appears that many of you are. I'll be posting videos like this after I grade each unit project to let you get some general feedback and clue you in on some of the common errors I saw in the projects. As an aside, I have posted a few questions in the Unit 1 discussion board. If you write an answer or comment in reply, I will count them towards the extra credit I had already offered. Also, I want to take this chance to remind you that I do not accept late work outside the times indicated on the course schedule. Let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about risk tolerance scores. Risk tolerance scores are designed to let people know how they react to risk within a portfolio. Or more simply, they answer the question, how do I feel about risky investments? Risk tolerance scores do not tell me anything specific about my portfolio. They only tell me how I feel about risk. Once you have a risk tolerance score and an understanding of different asset types, you can build a portfolio that will help you reach your goals without keeping you up at night worrying about losing your money. So how does risk tolerance interact with other aspects of my life? Well, let's look at age. Risk tolerance only represents one thing we should take into account when building our investment portfolio. So if I'm 64 and want to retire tomorrow, but I don't have enough money to do it, what are my investment options? Essentially, I can go to the roulette table in a casino and put it all on black. Now, my personal risk tolerance level would make that very uncomfortable for me, but my age and financial circumstances have now forced me to be uncomfortable. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell everyone that I do not recommend gambling as a type of investing. Now, that's an extreme example, but like I said, risk tolerance is only one part of the equation when designing an investment portfolio. So if you have very low risk tolerance, but you need higher returns out of your portfolio, investing more riskily than your risk tolerance would allow is an option. Another thing I noticed was that a few of you were confusing investment vehicles with asset classes. An investment vehicle is something you hold your investments in, while asset classes are something you invest in. That sentence can get a little confusing, but focus on the verb I'm using. You hold investments in vehicles and invest in asset classes. An example of an investment vehicle is a mutual fund or an IRA. I can hold a mutual fund that holds stocks, bonds, real estate, or other alternatives, or even all those at the same time. Stocks, bonds, real estate, and alternatives all represent different asset classes. Let's address the differences between asset classes really briefly. Each asset class has a purpose in constructing a good portfolio. Stocks allow you to grow principal by putting the principal at risk. Principal is the amount you have invested. Bonds generate income with little risk to principal. That's why bonds are often referred to as fixed income assets. Real estate and alternatives operate somewhere in the middle and serve to diversify a portfolio more than if you just included stocks and bonds. Cash is another asset class, and it's a little funny. The main reason to hold cash in an investment portfolio is to preserve liquidity, meaning to make sure that if you need the money, you can get to it without selling it for a huge discount or taking penalties. So let's say someone is young and won't need the money they are investing for a long time. They usually shouldn't have a great deal of cash in their portfolio because cash doesn't grow in value or produce income. So they would be better off investing in stocks, while someone that is older should invest more in bonds to preserve capital while generating income. So this question of cash and bonds and stocks and asset classes comes up in the project. First, let's look at Lupita's scenario. Lupita had a pension plan at her work. How should this affect her portfolio? Well, a pension represents a form of fixed income where Lupita will receive some money each month from her retirement account until she passes away. So because Lupita has guaranteed source of income in retirement, she can be a little more aggressive with her portfolio, investing in more stocks than she would if she didn't have the pension. Another question is, how should the cash I have on hand, meaning in a savings account or an emergency fund, how should the cash I have on hand affect how much cash I have in my portfolio? Well, let's think about Joel, who has an emergency fund. If the only reason to hold cash is to keep it easy to access, and the only reason you might access it is in an emergency, should he hold cash in both his emergency fund and his investment portfolio? Probably not. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you're moving forward with Unit 2 and preparing for Exam 1. Have a good week.